What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday, August 28th. I took 3 trades this morning, and 2 of them were losers, and my last one was a winner. And that last one is the one that you see here on the screen, making me a nice 1 to 3.63 risk to reward, ending me green on the day. I did go against my rule of 2 trades, but I don't know. Just the setup was just too clean. It looked so picture perfect, and I'll explain why. So coming into the morning, came in with a bullish bias. The reason why I came in with the bullish bias was primarily off of actually the 1 hour chart. So overall, we've had this dip down into here, and it looked like this ended up being a liquidity grab on the 1 hour. We tapped into a daily fair value gap as well, creating a market structure shift here on the 1 hour, leaving behind this 1 hour imbalance, so an FEG. We also created this bearish fair value gap that overnight got disrespected and became an inversion fair value gap. And then in the morning, we failed to create a new high. This right here was not making me feel great, okay? We failed to create that new high sitting inside of this 4 hour fair value gap. Now that, just shows weakness, okay? If price was truly trying to build bullish market structure here, I would have wanted to see a new high, potentially invalidating this 4 hour fair value gap, but we didn't. We failed to do that, and we started to come back on down. So I thought, okay, maybe price is just trying to, sweep a little more liquidity before moving back on up. It's also inside this 1 hour inversion fair value gap. So let's take a look and see what happens at the open. I did notice that overnight we had accumulation during the Asian session. London manipulated above the Asian session. Did not take out this session's high though. But regardless, we still took out the Asia high. And so you could expect a move on down for today. But with the bullish market structure, it was a little conflicting, right? So I had this 1 hour fair value gap that I wanted to get inversed. I ideally was going to wait until after 10 o'clock. I wanted to see the 9 to 10 o'clock hourly candle create this right here. I also wanted to see us hold this 1 hour inversion fair value gap. And if that would break, the last resort was going to be this, okay? Obviously, we see now that that candle did not give us that, right? And that's okay. We dropped down to the 15-minute time frame. We noted a 15-minute fair value gap right here. That was a bearish fair value gap. And I wanted price to move on up, invalidating that, creating an inversion fair value gap, which right now here was already a 15-minute bearish inversion fair value gap. So we got a lot of fair value gaps forming in this area. So I was just looking for ways that price was going to become bullish, especially because we had this move down, and then this I thought was going to be accumulation, and I thought we would manipulate below these lows, creating an inversion fair value gap, and then move on higher to our TP1 and the bullish draw on liquidity. I'm glad that I waited. We had 10:30 news, okay? I waited for 10 o'clock to see how that hour candle formed, and as you can see, like I noted before, that 1 hour candle displaced, it respected this, it displaced through that 1 hour inversion, it displaced through this 1 hour bullish fair value gap, creating an inversion fair value gap. So after it created that, what's the next likely thing that will happen? We're going to run for these lows, okay? Now that I had that in mind, I had my switched bias, all right? I came in bullish, but I had invalidation points to make sure that if ABC happens, then I'm switching my bias, okay? And that it did happen. These 2 fair value gaps did not hold, okay? Yeah, I did not catch a short up here. That's totally okay, because all we need is just a little bit of one of these candles, okay? Stop hyper focusing on trying to catch all of this one like from the very top all the way. Stop trying to catch the top and trying to time the bottom. Don't do that. Get a piece of the pie and be content with what you get, okay? So I waited until 10, was very patient, and so we dropped down into the 1 minute chart. And as you can see, we created this 5 minute fair value gap right here. I have the beginning of it and the high of it, and I saw that price tapped up into it, rejected, created a bearish fair value gap, and I said, okay, this is perfect. I entered in there. I put my stop above the high right there. It was also tapping into, or that's where it created that inversion fair value gap. It didn't tap into it yet. But regardless, right? My setup was there. It was great. We had, if it wants to cooperate, we had a manipulative move on up at the open. So I was expecting for continuation down. Q4, I wanted it to be continuation, not a reversal. So as you can see, obviously my first trade got stopped out. Okay. Then we started to push on up. We inversed this fair value gap right here that was bearish. And I thought about potentially getting in, and I did. I got in super late. Did I chase it a bit? Sure. I definitely chased it a bit. But regardless, I put it in there, and I had my stop below, I believe, this low. And then once we had this secondary push on up, I had my stop below this low here. This was my stop. I entered in here, okay? And I put my stop below this low. I entered in here on the retracement down into this fair value gap, and I saw that it started to push on up. We were in Q4. We were about to start Q4, so I figured we would get a nice push on up. And I was watching this 1 minute fair value gap right there. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you guys. I was watching this 1 minute fair value gap right there. I saw price come down very aggressively. And on this candle here, I manually closed out my position. You see that I had my stop here. I manually closed out the position. And I figured, you know what? We are probably going to continue moving on down. And so here, I reversed the position completely. I bought 5, trying to go long. Here, I sold 10. So that took away my long trade on 5, and I entered in 5 contracts short. Put my stop above that high, and my first target was this weekly fair value gap right there. I actually took more of my position off there because I wanted to get back to break even on the day, right? Bad execution here on this long. I should not have done that. There was no confirmation for me to go long. I wanted that 5 minute close above this FEG. And when I thought we were going to get that, I entered in too early. So that was my punishment. I should not have taken this long. Clearly, we had that 1 hour close below. Clearly, we had bearish sentiment. Clearly, we wanted to move on down. Had I not taken this, this trade would have made me so much more money than I did today. But regardless, I still came out green, so I am grateful for that. Thank God. And so regardless, I took the majority of my profits off here, and I sold one runner down here because I had a meeting I had to get to, and I had to close it. But anyway, great trade because overall it hit 1 to 3.6. I did leave that runner on another account that I had that made me the full extent of what this offered. But I'm showing this account here because just to show that, hey, you know, people who are profitable make mistakes too. They get emotional too. It happens. But I corrected myself quickly, and I flipped because I knew we were going to end up getting that move. I just had a feeling. And thankfully, my take profit was down here because as you can see, we just chopped around in this area a bit. Had one more stop down, and now it looks like price is coming back up. Okay, and overall for the week, I did want us to hit this 4 hour fair value gap first before we move on up. So this is very good to see that this happened. But overall, solid trade this morning. A couple mistakes here, but it's okay. It happens. We come back from it. And thankfully, my account did not end red, you know, because I waited patiently. The morning waiting until like 10 o'clock is brutal to wait half an hour. Just watching price go down. But you have to wait for those validation points on the higher time frame to be able to navigate the lower time frames. Okay. So yeah, I hope you guys ended green. It was a great trading day for me. I'm very happy on my other accounts. And yeah, I will catch you guys all tomorrow. We should have a great day. We have NVIDIA earnings, so this is probably where that run up is coming up. It's just that expectation from NVIDIA. But yeah. I hope you guys have a blessed day. See you all tomorrow. Peace.